Colin in Iowa City said Ohio State and Notre Dame seem to be close-knit teams, and it helped them get to the title game. Will we see teams like that ever again now that the portal has changed the sport into something different? Great news. Yes, you probably will see teams like that again. I'm going to go as far as to say you may see teams like that every year. Maybe not quite as special as these two teams were. These two teams were amazing to be around. But the same things are going to keep on winning. There's a big fear out there that the fundamental way the sport works has changed. In some ways, that's true. But the fundamental way to win in high-level college football has not changed all that much. It's just that there's some different mechanisms that you have to use to go about achieving it. But I was talking to a head coach last night, actually. Not Ryan Day or Marcus Freeman, they were busy. I was talking to a head coach last night about this, about the concept that relationships don't matter anymore. It's just going and paying and buying your roster. And he said, that's BS. And I agree with him. There's money involved, but how do you think you're winning a bidding war? How do you think you have a situation where a guy takes 30% less to come to you as opposed to going to them? It's still a relationships thing. And by the way, if it's not, and you go and you acquire the talent, ask Jimbo Fisher how that worked out a few years ago. Because they went and got the highest rated recruiting class in history. They did a piss poor job of forming relationships with the guys. They did a piss poor job of building the dynamic of a team, and the entire thing fell apart. It's not as easy as going and paying for players and then just plugging them in. It looks that way. In Xbox, it may be that way, but in real life, it's not that way. Relationships very much matter. Also, what if they aren't all like that? What if all the players out there are not up for sale for the highest bidder? What if those are just the ones you hear about? Also, what if winning still requires intangibles that money can't buy? Because I promise you it does. So the insinuation is, well, now that we've got NIL in the portal and we've got a bunch of money being spent on players, it removes what used to win. No, it doesn't. Ohio State's team dynamic is a large majority of the reason they just won a title. Notre Dame's team dynamic is a vast majority of the reason they were playing for a national title last night. You can't buy that stuff. You can't buy it if you want to. You couldn't purchase that if you tried. You can't get it overnight. That stuff takes time. There's no shortcut to that. Doesn't matter how much you pay your coaching staff, how much that coaching staff pays players, doesn't matter. If the lesson that you took from this national championship game last night and Ohio State winning it was that you can now just go buy a title, I think you learned the wrong lesson from this season. Colin, I'm not saying you specifically said that in your question, but I think a lot of people out there believe that, and you're really jaded towards the sport right now. Don't be. Don't be. It's different. It takes some getting used to, but the same thing wins that's always won, and that is evaluating, and that is recruiting, and that is acquiring, and that is developing. Here's the only difference. Now, you got a lot more money, and it's legal to do so, that you can reinvest now, but the way to win is reinvesting in your own guys. And you can supplement here and there with availability in the portal, but no one's portaling their way to a title here. You're going and you're doing same things you've always done, and now you're reinvesting in the ones you got right, and you may be cutting loose or allowing to walk free the evals that you missed on, because the best staff in the world is not going to hit it 100%. There are too many variables in the equation. But I would argue in an expanded field, in the playoff at least, you're eventually going to have enough teams in any given field that have done it right, that have gotten themselves to that point, that no one who kind of hot-shotted their way to that point through the portal is going to make it through several rounds against teams that did it the right way. Like, it's early. It's very early in the new expanded era. I think the expanded format will bear that out. Maybe that's a pro. Maybe that's a good thing. So I don't think things have changed. The formula for success, let me put it that way, I don't think the formula for success in college football at the championship level has changed nearly as much as it feels. I think a lot of the trappings around, a lot of the ornaments look different, but the tree is still the tree.